some of us really struggle being aware. Oh, it's a big spider. It's a big spider. Okay, bye, spider. I'm not really scared of them, but they're fast and they're running around the floor, distracting me. Where was I? Moving away and living abroad. Doesn't it sound so adventurous, so exciting? Why aren't we all doing it? Well, it's not as fun, as exciting as you think it might be. Well, for some of us, living abroad can be very, very scary and lonely, and we can suffer from severe homesickness. I know I definitely have. I've been living in Edinburgh for about 4 years. I used to live in Dublin, which, okay, it's not too far away, but it's still far away enough that I miss my friends and my family all the time, and I can really struggle with it at times. There have been points where I just wanted to pack it all in and go home to be around my friends and my family back there. But it's kind of a conflict. I love my job here and I love my boyfriend and I have really good friends here as well. So I really, really struggle. I don't know where I want to be, because when I'm in Ireland, I miss Scotland. When I'm in Scotland, sometimes I miss Ireland, and it's really, really difficult. So for the first 3 years of me living in Scotland, I did not really feel homesick at all. I would talk to my friends very regularly. I would go back and forth as much as I could. I was going out a lot with friends over here. I didn't have an opportunity to feel homesick. And all of a sudden, about a year ago, or maybe a little less, I started really missing home, like quite a lot. I was getting overwhelmed by it and I felt really upset like a lot of the time. And I couldn't get out of it. I wanted to go home, but I didn't want to leave my boyfriend and my life here. And I was so conflicted. I just didn't know what to do. And I let myself kind of feel sad. And I did nothing about it for quite a while, which I'm not quite happy about. But I decided that I wanted to get out of this mindset and I want to enjoy living my life where I am here and not worry too much about what's happening back at home, because I think that was my biggest problem. So I started making changes and it worked. I no longer feel homesick. The odd time I do, I'll admit that. I'll always miss my friends and my family, but I'm not letting it keep me down. So I thought it would be a good idea to share some of the things that I learned about dealing with homesickness and living abroad with you guys, and hopefully it'll help some of you cope with it if you're struggling, because I know it can be very lonely and a difficult time. So the first thing I would say is go out and make friends. Okay, it might have been easier when we were 15 to make friends, but we are getting older. It is more difficult. Where do you meet friends? Where do you meet friends? Well, I was very lucky. I met all my friends in work, pretty much, or through people from work. I worked in HMV, so I had a lot of young people who just liked watching movies and getting drunk. They were my kind of people. So we would go out quite a lot, drinking or going to the cinema. And that was a really good way of me breaking into Scotland. I had a group of friends very early on, and that really helped me forget about home a little bit. So making friends in work is always a good idea, and I strongly encourage that. Sometimes it can be difficult because there can be a huge gap in age differences, or you could be in like a small team where you don't quite get on. But what I say is try and make the effort as much as you can. Ask some of them out for a drink or go to the cinema. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, at least you tried. What's the harm in trying? Another way to make friends, although this might be a tad more difficult if you're on your own, is to go to local pubs. Just anywhere near where you live, you can just go in for a drink, and who knows who you get talking to. You could end up meeting a group of people who ask you to join with them, or you could be sitting there by yourself. It can be a bit of a risk. It's very daunting, especially when you're on your own, to go into a bar by yourself. Just try it. You never know who's going to strike up a conversation with you, or who you strike a conversation up with if you have a few jars in you. Another way of meeting new people in a new city is going online and joining one of those meetup groups or social groups. In pretty much every city, there's going to be a meetup group website. There's going to be meetup groups for people who are new to the city and want to explore the city or make new friends. There's always going to be that. So if you are finding it difficult to make friends with work, I would definitely recommend trying these meetup groups. There would be loads of categories. There could be just one for people who want to go out and have a few social drinks, or there would be people who want to go, like, get a group together to go to the cinema, or there could be, different interests and hobbies, board game groups. There's tons and tons on the internet. That's one great thing about the internet. It brings people together. So that's one thing I would definitely recommend. It also can be very daunting because you don't know who these people are and you're going to meet them in town somewhere. But I think it's a great way to get together people who have similar interests in you, and who knows, you might make the bestest friends out of it. And it's also a great way to get out of your comfort zone and just putting yourself out there. Life is for living, so go out there and join a group. I dare you. What I also recommend, and what's really helped me, is to keep busy. Keep as busy as you can, and you won't be thinking about being at home or your friends. You'll just be swamped with all the things that you'd set out to do. So what really helped me is I made myself a promise that I would go out or do something social at least 2 times a week. So that's 2 days, 2 evenings out of 7. Doesn't sound hard, right? Sometimes it can be difficult, especially if you don't have a group of friends. But if you do have a group of friends, or you have a few individual friends scattered around, what I'd recommend is just asking them to do something. Make sure 1 night or 2 nights a week you have something to do, something to look forward to, rather than just going home and being by yourself, which is okay to do as well. I love a night in by myself. It helps you get out of the house. And my problem was, when I was missing home, I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I knew all my friends were going out, but I was kind of sitting at home watching movies every night, and I got really upset. So once I started doing 2 things every week, I felt happier. I was doing things, I was seeing people, I was socializing, but also getting my time to myself on the other 5 nights. It worked really, really well. Also, hobbies. Hobbies really, really help. It helped me a lot because I like to knit. So I really loved when I was knitting, I was creating something, and made me feel all happy and good about myself, because I just feel creativity just really works for me, and it just gives me that boost that I need. Not everyone is creative. People have different hobbies that isn't creative based, but that's what I feel really helped, because I was keep my mind active and I kept my mind off being home or with my friends. So I definitely recommend taking up a hobby, scrapbooking or knitting. Knitting is fun. Creating music, playing sports, just anything like that, to keep your mind and your interests at peak. My next bit of advice is pretty obvious, but it needs to be said. Keep in touch. Keep in touch with all your friends and family as much as you can, especially if you're really missing home and you just need to hear their voice. So that would be kind of arranging Skype dates with some of your friends or your family. Maybe if you set aside 1 evening a week just to talking to your friends or your family back home, it really can calm you, especially if you feel really lonely and you want to go home or you want to see some of your friends, Skype is absolutely perfect for it because you get to see their face. There's no waiting for like a reply if you're messaging them. It's just instant face to face. It's like you're back at home, and it makes you feel so much better once you finish the Skype call. Skype has been so great to me since I've moved away. It just helps me just reconnect with everyone back home. Another way to keep in touch with your friends back home is to create a group chat so you can all stay in touch all the time. You can either do that on WhatsApp or Facebook or anything like that. But in my experience, that can be a good thing, but also a bad thing. I found it very difficult when all my group of friends were arranging to meet up that evening for some drinks or a party, and I was at home and I really wanted to be there with them, and it got me really upset. I felt uneasy and I couldn't explain it, and my boyfriend was really worried why I was so upset, and I was kind of off with him and I couldn't explain it. It was just this annoying thing that was happening, and I was very upset and I just couldn't get out of it. I think I even went to bed early a few times just because I was so upset. I just wanted to be around my friends because they were all going out having fun, and that was an evening maybe I was staying in. So it can be very difficult. On a few occasions, I have wanted to leave the group chat because I just didn't want to have that feeling all the time. When I'm not in the chat and they're not talking about going out, I'm generally fine. But it's just that one time when they're arranging a night out and I just want to be there and I can't cope. And that is one bad thing I would say about group chats. You don't know how it's going to hit you. But there are good aspects to it as well. Our group chat are very, very active all the time, especially when they have good news. So it is a fast way of getting to all of our friends to tell them, someone's engaged or someone's got a house or someone's got a new job. It's just like a very loving chat, and we're all just there to support each other. And sometimes you can post in it saying, "Oh, I miss you guys," and everyone will reply back and say they miss you, and they will reassure you that everything is okay. And so that is really, really good. It makes me feel connected to home because I'm always in contact with them. They pretty much post every single day. I might not reply every single day, but it's nice to know that they're there and they're always there. So I think group chats are a really good way of staying connected to everybody. And also, if it's within your means, try and go home as much as possible. I am very lucky because I live in Edinburgh and Dublin is just across the water. It's a 1 hour flight. So I can go back technically all the time. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire, so I can't just fly back every weekend, and I wouldn't want to. I'd be exhausted. But I do try and get back as much as possible. I'm very, very lucky that I have a Monday to Friday job now. I didn't always have, but I do now. So pretty much I know every weekend is available for me to go home. Obviously, I don't go home every weekend, but I can plan months in advance when I will be. So I go back as much as I can and try and see as many people as I can as possible. So definitely try and go back as much as possible, especially if you're struggling without your friends or family, and then try and wean it back and see how long you can go without going back. And you might realize you don't need to go back as much as you thought. I'm finding that now, that I don't feel like I need to go every weekend or every second weekend. Once a month is what I'm trying now, and it's working so far. I haven't missed home, and I'm looking forward to the next time I do go home. My next piece of advice would be let your emotions flow. So if you are really missing home and it's really getting to you and you feel very, very upset, feel it. Just feel it. Just let the tears flow, and talk to your friends, talk to your family. Just let them know how you're feeling, and I guarantee that they will make you feel better just by listening and by telling you that everything's going to be okay. Sometimes we keep things in and we don't let them out, and it's awful. It just builds and builds until you just completely break down, and you just need to let it out sometimes. It can be such a relief. So I definitely recommend that. Just let your feelings take you where it needs to go, let it out, and then move on. That is also key. You do not let them control you. Do not let them take over your whole mindset and make you feel horrible. Don't let them drag you down. You are better than them. Cry and move on. I think it's important to find things or people that make you happy. So you have to surround yourself with that. So if it is with hobbies or new friends or even just Skyping your old friends, just do whatever makes you happy, even if it's just for an instant, because your happiness is the most important thing and you have to focus on that. The thing is, maybe living abroad isn't right for you, and maybe you need to consider moving back, and that might be leaving some friends behind or a job. But if you're not happy, what's the point in being there? You need to think of your happiness and yourself first. I know it's such a cliche to say, but life is too short to be sad. So you have to focus on what makes you happy, and if it's not living abroad, then move home. I'm sure you'd be welcomed with open arms and you'd be so much better off. If you are living abroad, you have to make the most of it. At least if it doesn't work out, you say you tried. So go out there, meet new people, socialize as much as you can, go out and do some hobbies, just explore your surroundings as well. Do anything you can to make you happy. I think that is key. I really hope you enjoyed that video, and hopefully some people feel more at ease about living away from their home. If you are living abroad or have any advice for people who are living abroad, please leave some comments in the comments section, and maybe you might help someone else who is really struggling with being away from their friends and their family. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And please subscribe to my channel. I will be trying to upload a video every single week. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!